In early January, the conjunctions between Mars and Venus and the Sun, all within a few days, are bringing new beginnings in the Capricorn part of your sky, whatever part of life that rules. In this video, we're going to do an all signs breakdown to talk about what those new beginnings might mean for you. They are followed by an opposition with Jupiter, which could bring some luck and opportunities for growth, but we might get a little bit over ambitious, overindulgent, overreaching. So let's talk about how to work with these energies for your benefit. Hello everybody, welcome to this video and to my channel. My name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar. I make calendars like this one for Australia and New Zealand, not for the rest of the world yet, but maybe one day. I do whole sign Western tropical astrology, and I'm based in New Zealand. But this astrology, these energies that I'm talking about are for the whole world. They affect us wherever we go, affecting our micro decisions and our bigger decisions and just how we feel about things along the way. So in this video, I'm going to look more deeply at those conjunctions, but especially the opposition with Jupiter, with Venus and the Sun and Mars all coming together in that Capricorn part of your chart. We'll talk about what those new beginnings could be, and then the opposition with Jupiter, what that might bring in the way of opportunity, but also challenge, okay, in another part of your life, joining in with where the others are. Okay, so how do we integrate those? So let's get into the video. I will do an explanation and then we will go sign by sign. So let's look at Venus and the Sun and Mars. For those of you who missed my video yesterday with the week ahead astrology, I've talked a bit about these, but we'll look at them now in case you missed that. Venus is a personal planet. They're all personal planets, in fact. Venus is about relationships and money, resources, the earthly pleasures of life, the pleasures of the senses, what we can see, feel and touch. And it's also to do with beauty and aesthetics and what we value in a material sense. The Venus is also, in terms of relationships, it's very good at negotiation and contractual agreements and fairness, because it's about oneself with the other. Okay, and then jumping to Mars, actually, I'm going to jump to Mars because they're kind of opposites, those two. Mars is about the self. What do I want? What do I desire? And wherever Mars is in your chart, you do have a strong desire in that area, and energy and enthusiasm and determination. And sometimes Mars can just be so like instinctive and bold and think about the details later and just drive forward. And other times Mars can be more thoughtful, strategic, and quietly purposeful in a strategic way. But either way, either approach, Mars has a lot of determination and fighting spirit, and that's why Mars is known as the god of war. I will win, okay? Whereas Venus is, I will negotiate and I will keep the peace. The Sun, on the other hand, the Sun, which is the brightness of everything, is our vitality, our creative spark of life. As you go outside every morning, I hope that you lift your face to the sun, unless you're in a really hot place, because the sun is what lifts us. And it's about joy as well. And where we have the sun in our chart, we're joyful and even playful in that area. So it's our self-expression, our creative expression, even playfulness. And without that, where do we have vitality? We need the sun for our vitality. It can also be our ego. In a good way, we need some ego to survive in this world. And the sun, also where the sun is, we have some charisma and attractiveness with that. And the sun can take a lead and be a leader. All right. And all of these three are coming together, that between the 6th and 9th of January, in the Capricorn part of your chart. So in the all signs breakdown, we'll talk about where that is, that Capricorn area of your chart. So it might be your relationship house, it might be your career house, it might be your house of how you give service in the world. We'll talk about that, okay? As they come together, they're making a conjunction, and a conjunction is about the beginning or beginnings of something new, something with potential. Because they're personal planets, the potentiality is more in our everyday life. They're planets that are close to Earth. They're not the far out distant planets like Pluto and Neptune and Uranus. These guys are close to us, and so they rule the parts of life that are part of everyday life and just close to us in life. All right, not so much the big existential epic journeys of our life, more about the everyday. Nevertheless, the everyday is a really important part of some of those big epic journeys. So there'll be something starting up, or more than one thing starting up perhaps in that Capricorn area of your chart after the conjunction. During the conjunction, it's a good time to or conjunctions, I should say, to contemplate and pause and see what comes up, see what ideas come from the outside world to you and what ideas bubble up from within. All right, because they are coming into conjunction in Capricorn, this is an excellent sign for building for the future in practical, sensible, disciplined, realistic, long-term ways. Be prepared to be slow and steady with the development of whatever these new things are. Okay, and then after the conjunctions between Friday and Saturday, Venus, the Sun, and Mars, after they join up one by one but very close together, they come into opposition with Jupiter. Venus, the Sun, and Mars are in the sign of Capricorn, and on the opposite side of the chart is Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, where Capricorn is very practical and steady and realistic and very grounded in the reality of our life on Earth. The sign of Cancer is also grounded in reality of life on Earth, but Cancer is about the inner world, the private world, emotions. It has to do with where we feel at home and where we feel safe and nurtured, and where we nurture others as well. We want to nurture the world and make everyone feel mothered and welcome and belonging and emotionally safe. Okay, so we've got this opposition of Capricorn with its practicality, its realism, and just like it's no, because Capricorn is often about, no, you can't do that. That's not realistic. And Cancer is about, oh, but what about my feelings? Oh, but this is so lovely. I really want to, in a way. Anyway, it might not be like that. That could be, I'll interpret that in some other way. Cancer is about the inner feelings and that are swirling around and driving us in a lot of ways, and the desire to feel emotionally safe and to nurture and include others so that they feel emotionally safe. So there could be some kind of opposition with practical reality versus feelings and emotional safety. So see what comes up there. But let's talk a little bit more about Jupiter. Jupiter is the great benefic. It is expansive, adventurous. It seeks the meaning of life, and it brings luck and opportunities in life. It's generous, benevolent, and confident. And wherever Jupiter is in your chart, natally or by transit, opportunities come your way while Jupiter is there. And where it's natally, that's all your life, that there will be opportunities that come your way from Jupiter's position there. Jupiter is also very interested in the meaning of life, the higher meaning of life, and justice and truth, trying to understand what is the truth of life. And so Jupiter likes thinking about, likes having philosophical conversations, likes seeking spirituality, enjoys religion, and people with a prominent Jupiter, for example, in their career house, they are more likely than the next person to become a priest or a nun or some kind of spiritual guide or guru. Okay, so wisdom. But also another side of Jupiter is adventure and exploring and travel, bounding off into outdoor adventures to distant mountains or to distant countries, foreign lands. Jupiter can get over the top with its optimism and confidence and overindulgence, so we just have to watch for that. And the opposition with the planets might bring that out. So yeah, let's talk about the easier energies and the harder energies. All right, so Friday to Saturday, the 9th and 10th of January, Venus, the Sun and Mars opposite Jupiter at 20 degrees of Cancer. That's Jupiter and Capricorn for Venus, Sun and Mars. All right, the easier energies. Jupiter could be helping with some of these new beginnings. They might help you think more expansively and ambitiously with your ideas for the new beginnings. They might help you to feel more confident and adventurous and push out the boundaries of what you're thinking about to a further degree. All right. They also might help you think about the meaning of what you're doing, so that there's some kind of higher wisdom to it, or meaning, like it's helping people or doing something good for justice, for social fairness in the world. All right. And Jupiter could bring opportunities along with some luck. All right. Jupiter also with the Venus influence, the Jupiter-Venus influence here, we might feel happier. We might be more popular. We might be more ready to have fun. That's with all of them, actually. All right. And we might be finding that any of those energies of Mars, the Sun, or Venus are expanded. So Mars, more energetic. The Sun, more enthusiastic and charismatic. And Venus, more more beautiful or more ready to see the beauty and the artistry. Okay. On the other hand, it's an opposition, and oppositions are hard. They bring the tension of the opposite. So these are the more challenging aspects or characteristics of this aspect of Jupiter opposite these three. There could be tendencies to go over the top, to be overconfident, to overindulge, that's a Venus side more, to overspend, that could be any of them, pushing too hard to get what you want, that could be the Mars, expecting too much of life, like being too expansive, expecting too much of love. That's the Venus part. Glossing over the details, because Jupiter loves thinking in the big picture way. Being too grandiose, perhaps being a little bit verging on arrogant, overconfident, okay? And with the Mars influence as well, perhaps more ready to fight or to get into a fight or to get into some kind of drama, okay? And then with Jupiter's interest in beliefs and spirituality and religious practice, perhaps having over rigidity with our beliefs and thinking, no, this is the way to do it, that's the right, truthful way, but maybe not being flexible enough or seeing some other sides of the picture. Okay, so just going back to the opposite page here. So these are some of the challenges with that opposition. However, Jupiter is a benefic, and I think mostly there is opportunity to benefit from Jupiter's opposition here. Okay, so that feeling of expansiveness, confidence, optimism, and keeping your eye out or your self-aware that opportunities could show up. Okay, and just remember not to overdo it. So now I'm going to go through sign by sign, starting from the sign of Capricorn, because you guys have got that lineup of Venus, Sun and Mars in your sign with Jupiter opposite. But first I'm going to talk about an example of what it can be like when you have Jupiter opposite something. I had a situation where I was working on a project and it was kind of a new project, and then there was a chance where somebody came in to start to help me with the project, and they were like this Jupiterian influence. They were so enthusiastic and confident, and they had this sense of abundance and optimism and big picture thinking, and they encouraged me to think way beyond what I had done before. I had little ideas about this, but I thought, oh no, I'm going to expand in that way down the track. But they brought in all this enthusiasm and they said, just do it, just go big like this. And it was fantastic because I went bigger than I had thought I was ready to, worked hard and got the project to ready to be able to expand in that way. But there were some situations, some aspects of that where they encouraged me to go bigger than actually was sensible. So the general idea was the opportunity, and I did expand more, and I got more optimism and confidence out of it, and they encouraged me with that. But in some parts of it, I went too far under their advice, and I did have this feeling of caution when they said, no, do this as well, do this, just it's going to work out really well. And I was thinking, oh, well, in the other years I was very cautious about this, and I would rather be cautious, but no, they know what they're talking about. But actually in those extra things that I knew better, I had more experience in that field, and the confidence in some aspects of it was unfounded, and some of that ended up being a waste of money and resources. So this is a really great example of Jupiter in opposition to something. You do get more opportunity and you do get more confidence and optimism, but there could be aspects of it where you go too far. All right, so that's one example. Let's look at what area of life this is going to affect you, starting from Capricorn. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Capricorn Rising, on Friday the 9th of January to Saturday the 10th, Venus, the Sun and Mars are all lined up in an opposition to Jupiter, and those three, Venus, the Sun and Mars, are in your first house, Capricorn. So this is everything about you. While Venus, the Sun and Mars are there that whole week, it's a week that's beginning potentiality and new beginnings for something to do with you, your whole life, your identity in the world, how you present to the world, how the world sees you. And so you might be getting ideas, and these new beginnings could be something that play out over the next year or so in some aspect of your practical life. Your first house is about your identity, your personality, who you are in the world, and your life circumstances. So it can affect your relationships, your career, your home, every aspect of life. Okay, so there's some new beginnings, and when these three get into that opposition with Jupiter on the 9th or the 10th, that could be bringing ideas and opportunity and a sense of optimism and expansion. But at the same time, there could be some aspects of that where you are tempted to go too far, to overreach, to get too confident. So if you're feeling a note of caution about some of those aspects, take note of that and maybe hold back on some of it. But a lot of the energy for expansion and optimism might actually be absolutely the right thing to do. So all the best for that, Capricorn. Use your intuition and go well. You will enjoy building for the future. That is your Capricorn nature. So all the best, and please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Australia or your New Zealand edition of the Sun and Moon calendar for 2026. If you are Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Aquarius rising, the Venus, the sun, the Mars over the week beginning the 5th of January, they are joining up in a conjunction, or three different conjunctions between them, representing new beginnings in your 12th house. Okay, so there's potential for new starts, some new things that you're going to do in the house of where you escape from the world, where you retreat from the world. So this could be the ways that, when you come home and you flop on the couch and you eat some snack or another. It can be about where you're scrolling on your TikTok or watching TV, or actually getting into some really lovely creative pursuits that are quite private to you, your artwork or your music, and creating something, your writing. And it can be also spiritual practice. The 12th house is about where you're getting a little bit separated from your body, actually, because the first house is all about your body, and the 12th house is as far away as you can get from your body. And in the 12th house, as well as those other escapist and relaxing things that you do, including sleep and dreaming, but it can also be about where you're thinking about your place as an energetic being in the cosmos. Okay, so spiritual connection. But the 12th house can also be places of retreat like hospitals, care homes, prisons, resorts, or distant travel, foreign travel. Anything where you're away from your normal life. So there's some kind of new beginning, or maybe even more than one new beginning that could be playing out over the next year with these. But at the same time, Jupiter is in the opposite house. It is in your 6th house, and this is a house of very much being connected to the world, in terms of it's your service to the world, your practical service to the world, your daily work, and your routines for organization of life and healthy eating, healthy nutrition, and doing your exercises and organizing your house and doing your life admin. Okay, so there's some kind of sense of expansiveness and optimism and opportunity and even justice and wisdom, higher wisdom, coming from that 6th house. And it might be reminding you that despite all the desire to separate from the world and to just be your own self away from the world and be really connecting to spirit and divinity, the 6th house and Jupiter there might be reminding you that there is great spiritual meaning and spiritual meaning and truth and rightness in your actual daily practical service and the ways that you practically organize your life in the world. Okay, you could be getting a little bit expansive about that. Maybe there's a volunteer opportunity that comes along, or maybe there's an exercise regime that you're getting really into, and it could go over the top. You could get too far down that track, but mostly it's a chance for, with all that energy for spirituality, with that 12th house energy that you've got at the moment. The 6th house is also so spiritual, but it's more in the really earthy, practical ways, and looking after your body and looking after the realities of life in terms of the details of life. Okay, so bringing those together is a good idea, but don't go too far. If it's like doing yoga for a whole hour every morning before you go to work, that might be unrealistic, because you might have to wake up too early and not get enough sleep, and sleep's also important. Okay, so go well with that balance, and all the best for the new beginnings, Aquarius. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com if you're from Australia or New Zealand, Aotearoa, and you'd like to order your 2026 copy of the calendar. If you are Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Pisces rising, Venus, the sun, and Mars, they are joining together for a triple conjunction over the week beginning the 5th of January in your 11th house. That is the house of friendship groups, large organizations of people that you belong to, whether that is a work organization, friendship group, like I said, or a group of people where you're united by some kind of cause, a humanitarian project or a social issue cause that you're working towards together or connecting through that issue. Okay, and it's also the house of long-term goals, like what do you want over the long term in your life and what are you working for in a steady way. And it's also a house of gains or rewards that you get from your career or your status in your world, your reputation in the world, and your career work. So that's quite a wide range of things, and there's some new beginnings in those areas, you might be pleased to know, Pisces, and they should be very positive. They could be playing out over the next year or so. And at the same time, and they're to do Venus and the Sun and the Mars, and Mars, they are personal planets, so it's to do with ordinary things in everyday life, and that's why it's more of a short-term thing over a year, but wonderful new beginnings are possible. Jupiter in opposition on Friday the 9th and Saturday the 10th of January, that will be bringing additional feelings of optimism, energy, expansive feelings, maybe making you want to be more ambitious, more expansive, and to feel confident and good about it, like happy about it, especially as Jupiter is in your 5th house, and this is a house of playfulness and fun. What we do, what we create from the heart, like hobbies, but creations and even entrepreneurial projects or artistic expressions that come from our heart that are joyful. The 5th house is also about romance and children. So from any of those areas, there could be ideas and this energy about telling you to expand and go further with whatever's going on in your 11th house, these new beginnings, okay? The only caution is with Jupiter, take the ideas and the opportunities, but have a feeling of caution about some of them or about the extent, because with the Jupiter opposition, the opposition and can bring out the downside of Jupiter, which is to maybe overreach, go too far, get overconfident. So have a feeling of caution, an attitude of caution, but still, where there are opportunities and they feel right, step into them and enjoy that, Pisces. So all the best, and please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. And this could be a little bit of a different energy with we've got Saturn in that last part of our house. I'm a Pisces as well, and making us very serious and practical and realistic, and life is not so much fun sometimes. So the fun side of Jupiter might be coming out with this, so enjoy that. And if you are from Australia or New Zealand, please go to the Aotearoa or the Australia if you'd like to buy your copy of the 2026 Sun and Moon calendar and you're from Australia or Aotearoa New Zealand, go to sunandmooncalendar.com. Okay, all the best, Pisces. If you are Aries, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aries Rising, we have got Venus, the Sun and Mars coming into a triple conjunction in your 10th house, Aries. This is your house of career, your standing in the world, how the world sees you, your reputation and status. And there are new beginnings there with this triple conjunction, so much energy, all lit up, your career. And these beginnings could play out as projects or new developments in your career or your status over the next year or so. At the same time, there's an opposition from Jupiter in your house of home and family. So this could be your family of origin, it could be the house you live in, it could be or properties you own, or the people that you live with. Okay, your nuclear family perhaps. And this is bringing a sense of optimism and expansion. Perhaps people in your home are encouraging you with your career and encouraging you to be more ambitious and to think big. And perhaps opportunities are coming out of that confidence boost is helping you to step into. at the same time, have an attitude of caution about some of that encouragement, because it could be that you overextend. There's a risk there of overextension, overreaching, being overly confident or ambition. But do take some of it. Do take some of that confident wave of optimism and expansion, and just maybe don't go to the furthest extent of some of that encouragement that's coming your way. So all the best for those career developments, Aries. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com. If you're from Australia or Aotearoa, New Zealand, you can order your 2026 copy of the Sun and Moon calendar. Bye for now. If you are Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Taurus Rising, Venus, the Sun, and Mars are coming together on that week beginning 5th of January. They are forming a triple conjunction representing new beginnings and new developments in your 9th house of travel and exploration and the ways that you seek meaning in life, like your spiritual beliefs, your belief systems, a religion, if you follow that, or a spiritual set of principles, okay? But also foreign travel, outdoor adventure, and exploration. And it also can be about publishing and book publishing and higher learning. All of these things in the 9th house. It's about the philosophy of life and the meaning of life and how you seek to expand that, okay? So, new beginnings there that could be playing out over the next year. And at the same time, on Friday, the 9th of January, Saturday, the 10th of January, it becomes exact an opposition between those three and Jupiter, which is in your 3rd house. And Jupiter in your 3rd house is expanding your neighborhood, your community, your connections around the community, your commute, how you move around the neighborhood, whether that's walking, biking, driving, public transport. Also your siblings, things to do with your brothers or sisters or other relations, okay, cousins, aunties, uncles. The 3rd house is also about trade and exchange and learning, local learning, whether through local workshops or schools or courses, little courses, hand skills like music or craft. Okay, there's so much in the 3rd house. Jupiter is really expanding that area over the year, and especially at the time of Venus, the Sun, and Mars being opposite, bringing ideas and optimism and ideas for expansion and to be ambitious in that 9th house, okay? And the only thing is, well, step into those ideas and the opportunities that come your way, especially if they feel right. But at the same time, exercise a note of caution, or have an attitude of caution about some of the ideas, because there's a tendency to overreach, be over ambitious, and overindulgent, or to go a little bit too far. So do make the most of the opportunities, but have that awareness. So all the best for that, Taurus. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. And if you are in Australia or Aotearoa, New Zealand, you can go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the Aotearoa or the Australia Sun and Moon calendar for 2026. If you are Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Gemini Rising, Venus, the Sun, and Mars are coming together in your 8th house, and that is representing new beginnings over the next year or so for things to do with your partner's money or shared resources with a business partner or a committed relationship, intimate relationship. And also the 8th house can be about occult practices and where you are doing divination or delving into the ways that we can connect with divine knowledge and wisdom that is kind of hidden underneath. And also the 8th house is about hidden underlying layers of psychology, especially where that is to do with power, our inner power, deep motivations, deep fears even, okay? But these new beginnings here could be really good and positive and encouraging. This area is lit up at the moment. So like I said, it can be as well as partners' money, it could be other large amounts of money that you don't have ready access to, but they are to do with you, like investments or inheritances or retirement savings. Okay, so new beginnings. And Jupiter on the opposite side is in your second house, and so you've got this expansive and optimistic energy in your house of your own possessions and earnings and your self-worth, your sense of self-worth in the world, but also your own finances. Whatever's going on there, that's helping you to feel quite optimistic, abundant, expansive, and encouraging the 8th house energy to go even further. So make the most of opportunities that come along and ride that wave of confidence and optimism and expansiveness, but at the same time exercise caution if there's anything that feels like it's going too far, overreaching too much, being overly confident. So have that note of caution with it. So all the best for that, Gemini, and good luck with the money. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. And if you are from Australia or Aotearoa, New Zealand, you can go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the 2026 Australia or Aotearoa Sun and Moon calendar. If you are Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Cancer Rising, wow, you've got some lovely stuff happening in your 7th house of relationships, one-to-one relationships, like a committed life partner or a business partner, anybody that you work with or spend time with in a one-to-one basis. Okay, so Venus, the Sun, and Mars are just lighting up that area so much with their triple conjunction on that week beginning the 5th of January. So that is for new beginnings in your areas of partnership. So in that relationship itself, the one-to-one relationship, or new beginnings for your partner, and of course that will indirectly affect you. Okay, new beginnings that could be playing out over the next year. More than one new beginning perhaps with that, because there's 3 of them there and it's all lit up. And at the same time, Cancer, you have got Jupiter in your house. You have it for a year until I think it's June or July next year. And so that is really lovely. You are just feeling quite expansive and maybe more confident and benevolent and generous, and opportunities are coming your way. And Jupiter's retrograde at the moment, so some of that might be a little, that's internal at the moment, but it will be going forward again later, and so that will be happening. But while you have this opposition from your house, Jupiter in your 1st house of you, opposite your partner, you might really be encouraging your partner and encouraging that partnership to expand, to be generous, to seek far horizons, to be optimistic, and to have confidence. So encouraging. The only thing is to be a little bit cautious, because sometimes with Jupiter we can overreach, we can get overly confident, be overconfident, and the ego can get a little bit out of control. But mostly it's really good. Be encouraging of your partner, and if there is some notes of caution that they are expressing, take note of those, because there is reason to be a bit cautious at the same time. So all the best for that, Cancer. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the Australia or the New Zealand Aotearoa Sun and Moon calendar for 2026. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, in the week from the 5th of January, Venus, the Sun, and Mars, they are joining up. They are lighting up your 6th house. The 6th house covers a lot of aspects of daily life, how you give service in the world, your daily work. Even if you're paid for that service, it is still service that you are giving to the world. There is a spiritual component to that. The 6th house is also about how you look after your life admin, including your daily routine. So do you get up in the morning and go for a run? Do you read a chapter of a worthy text every day? Do you do some affirmations? Do you eat nutritious food every day? So your daily routines for health, for going to work, daily routines for looking after your life admin and organizing your affairs. Okay, so there are new beginnings in that area. Venus, the Sun, and Mars giving you energy, giving you some feelings of beauty and loveliness and comfort, and a creative expression and leadership. This could be something in your daily work, where you have a new project to work on, or some new ways of looking after your daily life admin and routines, okay, over the next year. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And at the same time, from your 12th house where you have Jupiter, the 12th house could be, with Jupiter there, could be bringing some ideas for spirituality and connection with the divine. It could be bringing ideas for far distant travel. It could be bringing connections with places that are away from the normal parts of life, like where you're visiting care homes, or you're in a care home, or going to a retreat or a resort kind of place, even connecting, or even with somebody in hospital. But also the 12th house is about really spiritual connection and your escape from the world, what you do, maybe your creative world when you're away from things, okay? And even how you escape from the world was watching TV or watching Netflix or whatever. You might have found a new series to watch that's just, and it's nobody else really knows that you're doing this. This is your private life. And it's giving you ideas that are expansive and optimistic. Ancient Apocalypse. I don't know if that's still on Netflix, but that was about these ancient sites from 12,000 years ago, and how modern archaeology is not actually acknowledging these enough, and making predictions, or not really guessing and working with the implications of what these could mean about how we understand human history. When I watched that was really making me expansively and differently about what is our place in the world and who are we. But I didn't really tell many people about it. I have told people about it, but they never know what I'm talking about. So I'm rambling here. But my point is that there could be something you discover in your private life, your world of escape, that really makes you think differently and expansively. And that could be giving you ideas and optimism and confidence in whatever's going on in your house of daily work and daily routines, Leo. Okay, but have a note of caution. Don't go too far. Do not overreach or get overly ambitious. So all the best for that. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com if you're from Australia or New Zealand and you'd like to order your 2026 copy of the Sun and Moon calendar. If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Virgo Rising, Venus, the Sun, and Mars are coming together in your 5th house. The 5th house is your house of romance and children. It's a house of creative expression and playfulness, and how you enjoy things in the world, like what you do in life that is heartfelt and joyful, but also it is a house of your children and dating. And so that's lovely to have new starts in that area. It could be a new beginning for a hobby or hobbies, a new project to work on, some lovely new beginnings in your dating life or your romantic life if you're in a committed relationship, or wonderful new beginnings for your children. They're kind of practical new beginnings. They're not like big, epic, decades long new beginnings. This is over the next year or so. And at the same time, from your 11th house, you've got Jupiter lighting up that 11th house of your groups of friends, your connections with large organizations, your long-term goals. That could play in here. and the gains and rewards or profits that you get from your career. Jupiter is helping you feel more confident and optimistic and expansive in that fifth house of your hobbies and your children and your creative expression, okay, your artistic expression even. And so it could be bringing on opportunities, ideas that make you go further, encourage you to go further. Okay, so enjoy that and step into those opportunities, but at the same time have an attitude of caution about some of the ideas. Do make use of the ideas and go further more expansively, but have a note of caution about overreaching or overconfidence or being overly ambitious. But all the best for that. The fifth house is a lovely house to have these beginnings, and especially to have Venus there at the moment. So all the best for that, Virgo. Be beautiful and expressive in the world. And please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the 2026 calendar for Australia or for Aotearoa New Zealand. If you are Libra, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Libra Rising, on the week beginning the 5th of January, Venus, the Sun and Mars are coming together for a triple conjunction, and that is bringing new beginnings and developments and the new starts for over the next year in your fourth house of home and family, your family of origin, the properties that you own, the house you live in, or the people that you live with. So that is cool. New beginnings, and Venus makes them lovely and Mars makes them energetic, and the Sun brings that creative expression into there. And at the same time, on the opposite side of the chart, Jupiter is in your career house, expanding and bringing opportunities to your career, and that is opposite those guys, and it's making you feel perhaps even more expansive and bringing opportunities and encouraging you with whatever's going on in your own home. All right, so if where opportunities come, or where there's ideas that feel really encouraging and expansive, go for it and do it. But at the same time, exercise a note of caution, because in the opposition, Jupiter can get a little bit overly optimistic and overly expansive and overreach. So all the best for that, Libra. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com if you are from Australia or Aotearoa New Zealand to order your 2026 calendar. If you are Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Scorpio Rising, on the week beginning the 5th of January, Venus, the Sun and Mars are joining together in your third house, and this is bringing new beginnings, new developments that will play out over the next year in your third house of your local community, your neighborhood connections, how you move around the community. Like you might get a new bike or a new car. It could also be to do with siblings and relations, and also small business, because the third house is trade and exchange, and even swapping fruit and veggies with your neighbors, but also small business and social media. So also the third house is about learning, and it could be about schools in your area, or doing some local courses or workshops to learn something, or connections with local schools. So lots there, lots that can begin, lots of areas where there could be new beginnings in those parts of life. At the same time, Jupiter is in the 9th house, and Jupiter loves the 9th house, Scorpio. Jupiter will be encouraging you there to be thinking about the meaning of life, the bigger picture. What does life mean? What are the spiritual principles I want to live by? And encouraging travel, okay? Because the 9th house is about going to foreign, distant places and learning about other cultures, even if that's learning about cultures in your own neighborhood, and seeking higher meaning through higher learning, okay? And that could be learning about spirituality, philosophical discussions, or actually doing something like university learning. So there could be something from any of those areas that are encouraging you in the third house to be even more expansive, optimistic, and go further with those new beginnings. But at the same time, exercise some caution if some of the ideas that are coming in seem over the top, too over the top. Take that into consideration and don't get too carried away. So all the best for that, Scorpio. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com if you are from Australia or Aotearoa New Zealand to order your 2026 Sun and Moon calendar. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Sagittarius Rising, Venus, the Sun and Mars are coming together in a triple conjunction on the week beginning the 5th of January in your second house. Sagittarius, this is cool. This is your money house. So this is your earnings, your possessions, your resources, and on a deeper level, your sense of self-worth, what you value in the world, but very often it's to do with your material, how the material possessions and resources and earnings that you have in life reflect your sense of self-worth, but also what you value, how you value yourself, what you value in life. Okay, new beginnings in this area, maybe some new income stream ideas, maybe some new money coming your way. Good luck. Maybe new resources or possessions. Maybe you make a decision to buy something that you've wanted to buy for a long time, and you do that, and it represents a new beginning in your life that makes your life more easy and better in some way, improved. At the same time, from the opposite side of the chart, there is Jupiter sitting in your 8th house. This is a house of your partner's money, shared resources with a business partner or a committed relationship. The 8th house can also be about large amounts of money, like that you don't have ready access to, like retirement savings or investments. And it can also be about your deep psychological layers. Okay, so about where you explore what's underneath your very deep fears, but also your deep motivations and your deep sense of power. So Jupiter's there expanding all of this at the moment, and there's some ways from that 8th house where you feel even more encouraged and expansive, and opportunities could come in the form of ideas or from the outside even about your own money, your own earnings, your own possessions and resources. Okay, so make the most of that expansive and optimistic energy and the confidence that comes from it and the expansiveness, but at the same time exercise some caution, because with the opposition, the Jupiter energy could make us get overconfident or overreach. Okay, so do make the most of it, but have that caution about it, Sagittarius. So all the best for that, and please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the 2026 Sun and Moon calendar for Australia or for Aotearoa New Zealand. So there we go. That is a roundup of what it might look like for you in your chart for your Sun, Moon or Rising sign, as to where Jupiter is with its opportunity and its luck, and also Venus and Mars and the Sun and the new beginnings in that Capricorn part of your life. Go well, everybody. Notice what comes up, what new messages come through or emails and knock on your door, new ideas that bubble up from within. They could all be important for that new beginning in the sign of Capricorn. And just remember not to go too far with things or get a little bit too carried away or optimistic. All the best for that week that's coming, and please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. I'm a small creator, a small YouTube channel, and I'm hoping to grow, so your support would be appreciated. Thanks everyone, and bye for now.